So, you have all seen the ending of this entire expansion, whatever you can even call it. Now, I've made already a reaction to these two cinematics that were released, but that was like a minute after they came out. I was in complete shock, so my reaction to that was completely raw. Now, I wanted to make a video because this is the end of the expansion, a lot of things are going on. I just want to do like a one-to-one video, not a script, nothing really planned. I just want to talk about my complete, genuine, complete, honest thoughts about the Shadowlands, this entire story, what is to come. So I don't really have a script for this. It is not really gonna be completely organized. So I don't even know where to start with this. I gotta be completely honest, this expansion has just been one big, massive disaster. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I know, right now, yes, super unpopular opinion, Shadowlands bad, I know everyone is talking about it, but I'm not jumping on the bandwagon because of that. I'm talking about this because I've been super invested in this storyline for a really long time now. I don't think too highly of myself, but I do believe that I have a very unique perspective compared to most people because I've been doing this YouTube thing, World of Warcraft YouTube thing, for over a decade. I've been with World of Warcraft since, I've been making videos since Myths of Pandaria, Worlds of Draenor, Legion, BFA, Shadowlands. I've seen things come and go. I've seen what videos do well, what don't. I've made over 700 videos. I've read the books. I've talked about the story. I've done a lot of things. I've seen the comments. I've compared them to now. And I just gotta give you, my honest thoughts. Things have never been as bad as they have been at this point. It just hasn't been the case. I'm just gonna... you can look at, the subscriber count and all that stuff. No one really knows. But you can really just compare it to my YouTube views, based on my own channel. Back in 2016, I was a pretty small channel, maybe 30, 40,000 subs. And I had a video that got over 2 million views just talking about, the villains of Warcraft, just listing villains of Warcraft. If I made that video today, that would get, maybe 10, 20, 30k views at the most. If it got 100,000, that would be just, crazy. So, it's ridiculous how much everything just dropped off. It's been a huge drop in interest for World of Warcraft over these past years. The video I made was in 2016, so this was during Legion. Now, if you compare this to all the other YouTubers, you will never ever see, a World of Warcraft YouTuber getting more than 200, 300,000 views at the most, actually talking about the game. You can even see this by the official World of Warcraft channel. Their own cinematics get, maybe up to 500,000 views at the most, maybe a bit more. But if you compare this to a few years, there was millions and millions of views. So the reason why I'm saying this is because people just don't care about the story anymore. The interest dropped off significantly. I can give you my own perspective with this, with Shadowlands, for example. When Shadowlands was announced, a lot of people were excited. There was a lot of interest with videos. But I've noticed one thing, well, especially over time, is that people just do not care about the story whatsoever. As a YouTuber, I really gotta care about performance, what is actually going on. So I've made videos that talk directly about the story, the actual lore, who are the brokers, what is the maw, where did this come from, what is going on with this exactly, and people just did not care. That got 10k views for over a year. But when I talked about what is to come after, what is going on, people were actually interested. So you can really gauge how interested people are in the content based on the videos they click. And I can tell you, with Shadowlands, you would be really dumb to make Shadowlands lore videos because people just do not care about this lore. You can even look at the previous video I made talking about the most recent thing. People are just not invested in this story whatsoever. And I gotta say it's rightfully so, really. It's not because I'm not blaming people for not watching it. It's just that they really, really messed up the story. Now, with Shadowlands, when it was released, yeah, I was actually excited. It did seem like there could be some potential. This new big villain, this new realm, all this stuff happening, there could have been a lot more done if they made 4 patches and really fleshed out the story. But this has been the biggest disaster whatsoever. They completely messed up all the Warcraft lore. They pretty much retconned the Chronicle. They've messed up so many Warcraft 3 characters. Then they pretended this has all been planned since Warcraft 3, they had actually this entire jailer thing planned. And yeah, I don't know, it's just been like a crazy disaster. The entire thing is just so filled with plot holes. Like, I remember when 9.1 came out, we were like, yeah, let's wait for 9.1. Maybe they will explain it. They didn't explain anything. Let's wait for 9.2, they'll explain it. Maybe something. Nothing was actually explained. And then, you know, the most recent cinematic came out and literally nothing was explained. Like, I don't know how stupid this entire thing is, because keep in mind, like, if you actually examine this, we've been in this mystery loop for 5 years, almost 5 years. Like, if you examine BFA, the entire expansion was literally a foreshadowing for the Shadowlands. Like, that entire war, the burning of Teldrassil, all that stuff was orchestrated by the jailer so that he can break the Shadowlands, so that he can empower his machine of death. So you would expect, if you had an entire expansion that was foreshadowing, you really need to come out with a crazy banger with the Shadowlands. Yet, they came into the Shadowlands, they kept up the same foreshadowing, and now they finished the expansion and they say, there's this thing that is yet to come. I mean, how stupid does that actually seem? Like, you can't just foreshadow things for like 5 years. Can you guys imagine like watching a series for 5 years where nothing happens and it's like, yeah, it's gonna happen. Like, it's gonna happen like in 3 years. Like, I can tell you this because when Shadowlands came out, there was a lot of people interested in videos. Over the half a year, interest dropped like by half, and then until recently it almost dropped completely, because when you make a mystery for 5 years, people are just not invested. Like, no one actually cares in the end. Now, mysteries are cool, big bad guys are cool, but this is just ridiculous. You can't just keep it mysterious for years and expect people to actually stay invested in the story. Over time, people are just like, who even cares about this jailer, guys? I mean, the entire story has just been a mess since the start. Like, we got these first ones, they retconned the Chronicle, we don't even know who the first ones are, we don't even know what this mechanism is, we don't even know why this world is a prison. Like, what did that mean, Sylvanas? Why is this world a prison? We don't even know that. Just so many plot holes. Like, no one even really knows what is actually going on. Like, I can tell you from videos, like, from my own perspective, it is super hard to make videos because we don't actually know what is canon. Like, we're constantly speculating, we're constantly making things up because there is nothing actually happening, and I'm actually worried that they don't even know what exactly is going on. I don't know, guys. As I said, I just wanted to do like a video where I'm really giving you my thoughts. I really wanted to give a chance to Shadowlands. I was actually excited for the lore. I was waiting for like a year that something finally might happen, but pretty much they ended the expansion. I mean, I know there's probably gonna be one more cinematic with Sylvanas, the novel and all that stuff, but they pretty much ended the Shadowlands, and the jailer was the most ridiculous, badly written villain that ever existed. Literally just a complete copy of Sergeras, but a super bad copy because, you know, we knew Sergeras' motives. We knew what was going on. So, I don't know, this story has been a complete disaster. Warcraft has definitely been on a decline, and now I'm not saying it is actually all that bad. I mean, it is bad, but I'm not saying I'm kind of excited for the next expansion. But I gotta say, I'm actually worried about the next expansion because I really don't want to talk bad about the team, but this is the same team that's going to be making the next expansion. You guys got to keep in mind that these guys, when they announced 9.2, like, do you remember, like, the enthusiasm? Like, they were super excited. They were talking about it as if they came up with some crazy, like, super genius, interesting thing, and you've seen the actual patch, you've seen the story, it was absolute garbage. So, when you see how excited they were, I mean, you can see that they don't have the best standards, so I'm really worried that they're gonna continue doing the same thing in the next expansion, and if they do that in the next expansion, this might really be bad for World of Warcraft, because you can't just keep 3 foreshadowing expansions, like, going on. Now, I've made a video, this is gonna come out in a few days, what I think this next big villain could be. There is some chance they could save it, but I gotta say, man, I mean, I don't know. It's never really been this bad. Like, they've really messed up the story with Shadowlands. Now, my own perspective right now, because it is bad. I know, unpopular opinion, Shadowlands bad, but seriously, just my own thoughts. Like, okay, that's done. We're done with the jailer. Can we just forget this jailer thing happened? Can we just move on, go back to Azeroth, like, continue whatever else we were doing? The only thing I'm concerned about is because they've been talking about this, another villain being above the jailer. I mean, just this concept is so ridiculous. We had Sergeras, then he was manipulated by these guys, and then the jailer was behind everything. He has been plotting for 30,000 years, and the only reason he was plotting is because there is some other bigger threat. I mean, how crazier can you actually get? Like, what can actually happen that's gonna be crazier than this entire storyline? So, I don't know. As I said, I want to be done with the Shadowlands as soon as possible. I want to get excited for the next expansion. I really, really hope that they make something out of this, because honestly, it's never been this bad. Like, this story has been completely, like, I've just lost interest over time, and if I wasn't making videos, I wouldn't even play the game at all. So I completely understand a lot of you guys not even following Shadowlands, because yeah, this story has been a complete mess. Like, I can literally make like an hour-long video on the plot holes or what wasn't explained. Like, pretty much like everything has been a mystery. There's been like 10% that was actually explained, like this entire expansion. So do give me your thoughts. What do you guys actually think? Like, do you think they're gonna make it with the next expansion? Do you think this story could actually return back to good? Because I'm keeping it optimistic. It is possible. Maybe they could come up with something, because the Warcraft universe is big. Maybe something could be introduced later on.